You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that's at least easier to follow than the storyline of Kingdom Hearts. I'm Cody.
I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
We have a great show for you this week. Thank you all for tuning in.
Got through that one just simple and clean.
Simple and clean. That is a joke for maybe 5 people.
It's the way that you're making me feel tonight.
All right, we have a great show for you this week. Bunch of news, but first, let's talk about some things we have been checking out. I'm going to get mine out of the way. I have one thing. I watched the first half of the HBO made-for-TV movie Fahrenheit 451, based off of the Ray Bradbury book, and it is that book in name only.
Oh, that's too bad.
I mean, they took some of the names. They took the names from the characters that, like, Michael B. Jordan plays Guy Montag, and Captain Beatty's in there. And, like, they have the general premise of burning, books are bad, burn books. But they added, like, all this extra stuff about books are available to read. The state allows you to because they're on iPads. But actual books are not allowed.
That's really stupid.
Like, you can read the Bible and Moby Dick. And also, they added this whole subplot about basically an Amazon Alexa in everyone's home and everywhere spying on you.
I mean,
it's not too far off.
It's not too far off.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. I mean, it had a lot of, like, futuristic, like... it almost looked like, what was it, Atomic Blonde with the primary neon color,
cool.
like, palette and stuff like that. And they did a really good job with some of the aspects of the book, like how in the book they explained that there are TVs along entire walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually
That's
read
really
this
cool.
book back in the day.
I did too. I really liked the book originally.
Yeah.
But they veer so far away from, like, the main, like, the actual beats of the book that it's barely Fahrenheit 451. They turn Captain Beatty from the main antagonist to someone who the main, Montag is, like, might be working with him to, like, save books. Because there's, like, a whole subplot where he's, like, writing his own book on, like, cigarette papers, rolled cigarette papers and stuff. And... like, Montag's not married, so you don't have that, like, give and take with the wife.
I feel like was a big part of the book.
Yeah. So I guess what I could say is this movie is a success in that it makes you want to read the book instead of watch the movie.
I mean, I've never read the book. I never had to, so...
It was required reading at least when I
wasn't
in
required.
school.
I read it for funsies.
Yeah, I mean, I would have read it for funsies anyway, but I think at Ridgedale it was required reading.
Honestly,
freshman or sophomore year.
There were a lot of books that I've known people to have required reading that I never had. Like, I never had to read, like, The Great Gatsby or things like that.
Oh yeah, we had. Oh, I had Great Gatsby.
Nope.
Yep. Wuthering Heights.
Nope.
Really? Wow.
Oh, in my elementary, we read the what was it? The Golden Goblet 3 years in a row.
I don't know what that is.
Like, it was 2 years in a row, and then they tried to get us to do it the third time. And then we looked at our teacher, goes, "We've just read that twice." Each light, it goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes." Okay, the Golden Goblet is set in ancient Egypt, and it's about this kid who has an abusive older brother that takes care of him, and he dreams of becoming a gold jewelry smith.
Wow. Sounds exciting.
It's a dumb book.
It sounds like it.
It's a really dumb book.
It doesn't sound great. But yeah, Wuthering Heights was required reading junior year. Yeah, Great Gatsby we did. I'm trying to think of something.
I tried to read Great Gatsby for funsies and didn't care for it.
It's a really acquired taste. Yeah. We actually did in sophomore year we did a big huge section on, like, Arthurian legend and, like, stuff like that.
So you read, like, what, Avalon?
Yeah, read Avalon. And I remember it because...
Or was that Shores of Avalon? I can't remember the name of the book.
Something like that. Yeah, we did that. We did the Lancelot, whatever that one was. And I remember it because at the end of the chapter, we had, like, a couple weeks before the end of the 9 weeks, and our teacher brought in Monty Python and the Holy
Oh.
Grail,
Nice.
and we watched that, and it got to the part with the killer bunnies,
Oh.
and he rewound it because it was on a VHS. He rewound it and rewatched it like 5 times in a row, and just laughed hysterically. Like he's like, "Oh, this is the best part of the movie! Oh my god!" And like, yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't fast forward through the convent.
Yeah, did he fast forward? Yeah, through Castle Anthrax.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I believe he did. But yeah, I did that, and oh god, what was it? The Canterbury Tales. Canterbury Tales were required.
Oh, that was
reading.
boring. That was a rough one.
Bits and pieces. Some of it I enjoyed, some of it I did not. But there were bits that I liked.
What was this one book we read when I was in school?
It's not finished. What's the point?
There was a book I read, something Pigman? Shoot. It's about an old man who lived alone in a house, and these kids befriend him and then betray his trust by throwing a house party in his house.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I know. It was something Pigman? Lunch with Pig? I can't remember now.
Mask of the Pigman.
No. And then we read, like, Tuesday with Maury.
Yeah.
Never had to read that one.
Oh, you're lucky.
I feel like we read like an excerpt or something. Back when you had those reading books that were just huge textbooks with a bunch of...
Though for in my junior year, we read The Green Mile, and I really enjoyed that.
I wish we did that one. We didn't do that one.
It's a good book. It's a lot different than the movie.
We read The Minds of Billy Milligan in one of my high school English classes, and it was really good and kind of kickstarted my interest in like true crime stuff.
Yeah, I don't like Mitch. What was his name? Mitch Oblum, the author of Tuesday with Maury. I don't like his work. I don't.
We did To Kill a Mockingbird.
Nope.
No,
I've only seen the movie. I've never.
Oh,
read
really?
the book.
Yeah, the book's really good. Well, yeah, I enjoyed the book. I mean, it was a slice of life kind of
thing.
And it did have a true crime kind of thing near the end. Like they spend half the book setting up all the characters, and then the second half is
The trial
where Scout's dad was
Because they killed that bird.
Yeah, they killed that bird.
What was his name?
Yeah, that's why I haven't read it. Is I don't care for violence against birds.
God dang it!
Did you?
Then never read The Owls of Ga'Hoole.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I really liked that movie actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it.
The Guardians, Owls of Ga'Hoole.
I feel like somebody was involved in that movie that you'd be like, "What was it? Is that a Zack Snyder movie?"
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Zack Snyder movie.
Is it?
It's either Zack Snyder or what's his name from the X-Men movies.
Now I gotta look it up.
What's his name? The one that's getting into that
Brian Singer.
Brian Singer. It's either one of the two of them. I'm thinking it's Zack Snyder, but it honestly could be either or.
I kind of like that movie.
Yeah. You know, it's a good movie I watched a little while ago. It was like
The Guardians of the Galaxy. It's pretty good.
it is a good movie. No, it's the one where like Santa Claus and
It's
the
just
Easter
called.
Bunny
It's just called the. I think
It's just called Guardians.
Guardians.
It's just called The Guardians.
I
yeah.
liked it.
I like that movie too. It's really good.
It was really clever.
And Santa's kind of a Russian Cossack kind of
guy.
like
yeah.
he's kind of dope.
Mm-hmm. He is, yeah. And
Zack Snyder did direct Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Gotcha, yeah. But no, The Guardians, that was, did you know it was based off of a book series?
Yes.
Like, there's an entire series of, like...
Most DreamWorks stuff is.
That's really cool. It actually kind of makes me want to go back and read, like, that series, because I like the setting.
Shrek is, like, a book.
Yeah.
Well, Shrek's a book, but...
And
Boss Baby's a book.
is it?
It is.
Huh.
Did not know that.
How to Train Your Dragon
Is a book.
Well, I knew that was a book.
The art is so different, though. I hate it.
Well, Shrek looks really weird.
Oh, I know. Oh man, I had a weird stint earlier this.
I thought you were gonna say stink.
No. I mean that's always, but this weekend where I think I've decided I'm going to go back and I'm going to start reading the Redwall series.
Oh, right on.
That's good stuff.
I own the entire series.
Sure, and you've read it once, haven't you? Or read bits and pieces of it?
Not the whole one. I've read the first 4 books in their entirety, and I started the 5th one, 10 years ago, and never finished it. Of course, the same thing for Pirate Latitudes by Michael Crichton.
Wasn't there a D&D campaign set in the Redwall universe?
I don't
kind
know
of.
There's Mice and Mystics.
Well, that's a totally different. That's a board game. I own all of that actually.
Nice.
I own all of my.
Why are we playing that? Why are we playing that right now?
Mice and Mystics right now? I'd love to play that. I almost bought it.
I own the whole thing. I actually
Hey, next game night.
it's kind of I need to read the rules because
Okay.
it's one of those more complicated kind of like campaign in a box style games.
Sure. Okay.
We can watch a video.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that. I actually contacted a friend of mine to commission him to paint the pieces.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Nice.
There's a lot of pieces in that.
But that's how usually when we do a game night, like at my mom's house, it just is us watching a lot of YouTube videos about
On how to play a game.
and then trying to play the game,
Yeah.
which usually works.
actually, there is a Mice and Mystics like movie or animated series coming out to Netflix.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
Yeah. You guys might be thinking of Mouse Guard though.
I might. Yeah, that might
'Cause
be.
I think
Mouse Guard.
I think there's a Mouse Guard like role playing system.
It's mice with swords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, Brian Jock's like partway through the series is kind of gives up on anything of like size ratios of creatures and stuff. Like in the very first book, they talk about how like the rat horde comes in a horse-drawn wagon,
Oh, nice.
and like the horse is some gigantic beast, and like one of the rats falls off the cart and gets crushed by a wheel.
Oh.
But beyond that, they just kind of give up on everything. There were also some animated series back in the late 90s, I think.
Of Redwall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
They did 3 of them. There's the original Redwall. There's Matameo, which features Tim Curry as the voice of the main villain.
Well, then that's the best movie ever. Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Slagar the Cruel. He's this fox wears a mask.
And orders a cheese pizza.
And then
Hello.
and then they did Martin the Warrior. With God, the series is all over the place too, because sometimes like it takes place in this part of the series, and then this is like hundreds of years in the past, and this one's like X amount of years in the future. It's so weird. But anyway,
sometimes I get that mixed up with, and I know this is not right, and I know this is like
The Warrior
Apple.
Cats?
No.
I wanted to
Samurai
read-
Pizza Cats. No.
I wanted to read the Warrior Cats though.
I get it mixed up sometimes, and again, this is totally apples and oranges, but Secret of Nim, because
Oh,
you
that makes
have
sense.
the
Kinda.
lab animal kind of like
Yeah, the anthropomorphic animal people. Yeah.
that you find out were like tested on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know, the new Watership Down series popped up on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet.
I don't want to watch rabbits tear each other apart.
The animation looks really weird. Like I can't tell if it's cheap or not.
Yeah, I still
Cheap or artistic.
cheap or not, I don't want to watch rabbits fight and dismember each other. That's not
From the-
that's not a good time for
From
me.
the trailer I've watched, it doesn't look as nearly as graphic as the original film was.
I hate when they do CG and it's like at like this weirdly low frame rate.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Prince is like that, which is fine if you get used to it. But like there's a second of like, why does it look like my TV's having trouble rendering this?
Well, Dragon Prince Ruby looks kind of like that. Their new Rooster Teeth's new series Genlock looks a lot like that.
I've seen a million ads for that. What in the heck is that?
It's their brand new series. It just premiered.
Oh,
I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. It looks like some kind of future mech series.
they can't do Ruby forever because Monty Ohm died.
yeah.
It feels like it's nearing its end on Ruby, though.
They probably should have stopped it a while ago. I feel like. I mean, I don't know how it works inside it at Rooster Teeth, but I feel like
Unless he had like a story Bible and was like, "Hey, this is how I want to end the series. This is where everyone wants to end up."
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
just want to they're going off of that to finish up the series. Because
mean,
in that case, I could see them. I'd be all right with
I
it.
like
Yeah.
I like this current season or set of Ruby or whatever you want to call it.
Now, is this the one where the Halo characters make the fart jokes?
no, that is Red versus Blue,
Ah, okay.
and that should have stopped a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like how many seasons into that?
Like when Halo stopped being relevant.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Actually, I don't think they've really done one in a while though. They had another animated series that's actually like legit animated. It's called The Nomad of Nowhere. I've watched it. It's not bad.
It sounds like Xavier Renegade Angel.
No. It's kind of like a weird.
Sounds like something he would come up with.
I know, but it's kind of like a weird like pseudo western kind of thing with
Cool.
like a little bit of fantasy thrown into it.
Cool. Yeah.
It's not bad. It's kind of short though. God, check it out.
I can
Do you have anything, Cody?
I can just hear Xavier saying the Nomad of Nowhere and like that weird cadence he has. That was a good show. It was
It's
really
weird.
It
It's
was
so
really,
weird.
really weird and surreal, but it was funny.
It had like a drug trip kind of to it.
It was by the people that did I can't remember Wonder Chosen,
Oh, okay.
which is
then,
a
yeah, that is
fantastic
weird.
and
Yeah.
great show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever watched that one.
Oh, you should. The concept is it's like a dark kids show.
Mm-hmm.
So Gravity Falls?
No,
No,
like Dark Sesame Street.
Oh.
Like Sesame Street that's not afraid to tell kids the dark truths of the universe is like the concept of the show.
Oh, man.
All right, so yeah, let's do some of you guys checked outs because I mean
is
we've
that
vamped
what-
for
is
20
that what
minutes, so we're
doing?
good. Yeah. I mean we can keep talking about just random
Books and random stuff.
Yeah.
stuff. This is fun.
I mean, this is kind of the point of the beginning of the show,
No, sure,
in a
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I haven't really done much of anything else other than watch the whole first season of Once Upon a Time.
And we talked about that.
we talked
last
about
week.
that.
And I'm still trying to barrel my way through Kingdom Hearts 2.
Too. Yeah.
I'm most of the way through. It really starts spinning its wheels halfway through, which sucks.
Mm-hmm. Kingdom Hearts 2, the third in the series.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I played a little bit of that Realm Royale game.
What is
I don't
that?
know what that is.
It's a battle royale game that has like a fantasy skin to it, kind of. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Except you don't build things. There are classes, and they have different abilities and skill trees you can unlock and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get shot and before you die, you become a chicken.
Huh.
And you
Okay.
can escape, and within a certain amount of time, you come back with a little bit of health.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
like the first time I got turned into a chicken, I got out of there and I was actually able to survive, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. You drop onto an island or whatever from a blimp. It looks like a Warcraft Zeppelin, honestly.
So it starts the same as every battle royale game.
Pretty much.
Are we done with those yet?
Nope.
Can we be done?
No.
Nope.
No, the kids still love the Fortnite. Do the floss dance.
Yeah. Isn't that the Fallout 76 survival mode? The battle royale type sort of situation?
I mean, they don't drop you in a map, and
Or is it more like Rust or something
it's
like
like
that?
more like a Rust thing, which
okay.
I think is what they originally wanted to do with the whole game anyway, and it
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense. But that's for after
That's
the
for
music.
after the break. Yeah, okay.
I know there's been stuff lately that after we're done with the show, I go, darn it, I wanted to talk about this, and I didn't. And now
Yeah,
I
you know,
can't.
when you're on the spot,
Yeah.
it's hard to come up with stuff. Sure. No, yeah.
I mean, I got completely caught up on Steven Universe, and I'm ready for the movie to come out later this year.
Nice. I watched more Great British Baking Show.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
We've said that several times.
Yeah, we have. The season that we watched had there was a guy named Rahul that won, and he is so like nervous and like borderline depressive. Like every time anyone tells him he did a good job, he said sorry.
It's Canadian.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And it got to the point where every time he came on screen, I would go like make that noise, like he's just like nervously like grunting.
Like,
Paul Hollywood shakes his hands like, "You did a great job. This is the best cake I've ever had."
so he's like,
You can hear his butthole clench.
so he's like Tina from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, he really is. And like he won the whole thing and was like, "Oh no, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I won.
Sorry, I crushed your dreams.
I'm sorry. Everyone else should have won instead of me. I'm sorry."
The Great Canadian Bake Off.
Apology 2019. Oh man! So have you guys seen all the stupid Shaggy memes?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't really care. I don't get
I
it.
don't. Yeah.
I'm like, they just kind of popped out of nowhere, and I was like, why? Why?
I found a deep dive of those like last night, like super late last night.
Most of them are like movie interviews.
Yeah.
They are with Matthew Lillard. Is
Yeah,
that the actor's name?
or with all the other
and
actors.
they would put like, I'm only using 1% of my power because Shaggy is the best and the strongest or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that. And
They're not funny.
I guess
No,
it,
I didn't think so either.
I guess
Yeah.
it all started from some little clip from some Scooby-Doo movie where Shaggy has like a trigger word or a trigger phrase or something that turns him brave, and he fights a bunch of
Well.
bikers. But
That's
somebody,
probably the weird second one.
no, not the live action one. It's an animated one.
Oh, you mean Scooby Snacks?
Yeah.
Because that was the whole point of Scooby Snacks.
Yeah.
Well, it was something about a sandwich or something that like triggers him into being like some kind of amazing brave guy.
It's lame.
Yeah, but somebody overlaid it with a song from Dragon Ball Super, and so now this whole thing is called like Ultra Instinct Shaggy or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've never been.
Meme culture is weird, and sometimes
Meme
I
culture
get
is
it.
weird. I was about ready to say, I've never been a huge Scooby Doo guy. I like it more than some folks, but
Yeah.
like it's never
Oh,
been
I love
like
Scooby Doo.
I've-
When I
it's
was
never
a kid,
been-
it was my favorite.
the only Scooby Doo series that I've really enjoyed beginning to end was Mystery Inc. The one that has continuity and there's like a
An actual
season
story.
long like story like mystery instead of episodic like
Monster
chunks.
or Ghosts of the Week or whatever.
I watched
Yeah.
it like before school every day. They'd play it in the morning.
Yeah, but kind of getting to my point with this, I guess there's a petition out there to put Shaggy in Mortal Kombat 11.
Which is more
Lame.
likely than you'd think.
I know.
Because Warner Brothers owns Scooby-Doo
Oh,
and also
Scooby-Doo,
Mortal
yeah.
Kombat.
It's more likely than Goku and Smash.
Yeah. And hey, they put Ronda Rousey in it. You might as well put Shaggy. Who cares?
Yeah. Oh man, get Matthew Lillard to voice Johnny
Shaggy.
Cage.
Reptile. He's green.
Yeah, there we go. Zoinks. Like Wild Scoob.
Also, he has a move where he just eats the other guy.
Yeah,
so,
that
you
would be
know.
it. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
unhinges his jaw.
Yeah.
Like when he's
like
eating.
Shaggy does when he eats a sandwich.
Well, the PC version, someone will mod like a Shaggy model over top of
like a bad
like-
one from an old
Mhm.
Scooby-Doo game.
Oh yeah.
Either that or somebody will make a wrestler character.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like the new Ugandan Knuckles for me right now. I hate it. Oh man, can I just say, like, as far as like Once Upon a Time goes, I don't know if it's just the first season or if it gets better. How I hate how everything, like, especially in the fantasy world, looks so stupid fake.
Yeah.
Like, it hurts.
Oh yeah. No, it doesn't get better. In fact, it gets worse.
Like the people against green screens.
Yeah. Eventually, they run out of budget.
Mm.
And you end up with like very bad CG backgrounds.
Like I mean, there's already a bunch in there, especially for like Regina's castle interiors and things like that. And they keep using the same like 50 feet of woods
yeah,
for like everything.
All the budget goes into Regina's awesome costumes.
yeah,
Queen Cleavage, as
Yeah.
my girlfriend calls her. Sometimes, like, some of the costumes like look terrible. Like some of the like Prince Charming's outfits were looked kind of good, but then like all like the castle guards for all the different kingdoms looked like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
just wait till you get to Wizard of Oz land.
wait, that's a thing.
That's
My
a spin-off-
God!
That's a spin-off show.
Yeah,
Oh, I
and
thought
also,
ju- I thought
also
just-
the Wicked Witch is like the antagonist of season 3, right?
Yeah.
I thought the only spinoff was the Wonderland one.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of that.
No, there was an Aladdin one, wasn't there?
Jafar is in Wonderland.
Jafar. Oh yeah, you're right.
yeah, he's in Wonderland.
Right, but no, the villain of season 3 is the Wicked Witch.
Why was I thinking there was an Oz spin-off?
I don't know.
It's Wonderland. They're basically the same thing.
Are you thinking of Tin Man?
Yeah.
that really bad Sci-Fi Channel.
Hey, I kind of
show?
liked. I kind of
With Zooey
liked that.
Deschanel?
Yeah,
I kind of liked that.
yeah.
And they're in the OZ.
No, that was an HBO series.
No, that's what they called Oz in Tin Man. They called it the OZ.
Did they?
Yep.
Oh yeah, and Tin Man was a cop.
Yeah, he was a Tin Man because he wore a tin star.
God.
That and they found him like in almost like a steampunk Iron Maiden thing trapped in the
Oh
woods.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's a weird series.
You know that actor that played the Tin Man went on to play M. Bison in that Legend of Chun-Li movie. Oh yeah,
A classic
a
in
classic
its own right.
film.
Oh man,
my
speaking of
gosh.
Street Fighter, I watched the Addams Family movie.
Oh yeah, okay, Raul Julia.
Yeah,
It took
yeah,
me a second
yeah.
to
Make the connection.
Yeah, but no, it's a good movie.
I forgot how much I love that movie and how
really
weird
good.
it is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those movies. I know I've seen them before, but it's been so long I don't remember
I always
anything
liked,
about them.
Adam's Family Values too.
Oh yeah.
It was an interesting take on like the
and I
like
love the
the
Addams
story.
Family too. They like
Like the
They're
like the
great.
one thing I kind of noticed is a lot of movies that I really love, especially from like the early to mid '90s, almost have like the same style of opening.
Yeah.
Black screen with that weird squiggly white font. Like Men in Black does the same thing, and I think they might have the same composer. I'm not even sure right now, but the music
maybe.
sounds almost the same.
Is it Barry Sonnenfeld?
Maybe,
Jerry Seinfeld.
but like Beetlejuice has a similar
What is
opening.
the deal with all of these music scores?
And like Superman's in the background. Yeah.
Wow, that's a deep dive.
Right?
Yeah. All right, hey, let's go ahead and take a break here, and when we come back, we'll get into some news.
Boom, 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 boom,
Boom, boom,
boom.
Hey, we're back. That was the Turtles with Happy Together. There was recently a Detective Pikachu trailer that had that song in it, and it's a great song.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why we played it.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean, hey, it fits.
also, Detective Pikachu looks real good.
It looks incredibly good.
They recently released like a second teaser that's mostly the same.
It's
as
mostly the same.
first
There's a
one.
couple extra shots.
Yeah,
And
I
And a
conti-
fart joke.
Yeah, and I continue to be excited for the film about the crime-solving children's toy rat.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. And we're not the only ones that think it looks really good. Was it Legendary Pictures executives thinks it also looks really good because they've already greenlit a sequel.
Yeah, they're already working on Detective Pikachu too.
Yeah. Okay, so
Well, actually, they changed the name of the movie too. It's now called Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
okay.
Which doesn't seem necessary.
I feel like it
doesn't.
needs. I feel like it needs like the Rogue One treatment, where it's like Detective Pikachu, like
A Pokemon story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A Pokemon tale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool. All right, so
Please hire me.
Yeah, I think Pikachu has more brand recognition than the brand he's
then-
from.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think Detective Pikachu tells you all you need to know.
I agree with that. Now, with them greenlighting Detective Pikachu 2, do you think this is a sign that the movie is good, or do you think that they are jumping the gun and putting like their eggs in basket too
I don't
early?
think it matters if the movie's good.
Yeah.
It's gonna make $1 billion anyway because it's
That's
Pokemon.
true.
I think that's what they're
that's
planning
true.
on.
Yeah.
Is the fact that its box office earnings are going to be insane.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be super effective.
And I think it's super effective against people's wallets. I think it'll be good though. I think there's enough good writers attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And I think it's going to be different enough from a
Standard Pokemon movie.
yeah
Yeah.
that I think it's going to get people, people who are already fans of the franchise, but you're not going to get bored of. Oh, we know the story of Pokemon.
You're not catching them all and
Yeah.
fighting the Elite Four or whatever.
I feel like it's going to be more like for like fans to go like kind of like a background hunt.
Yeah, look, there's that. Well, I think it's accessible to people who don't know Pokemon too,
Yeah.
because it's a detective story. It's
Yeah,
not.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a story that features Pokemon, not a Pokemon story.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's the smartest way to do anytime you're making a film about a what's
A
the word?
franchise where you're not going straight after the core
yeah,
demographic.
and that has
Exactly.
a whole world behind it. Like, well, Harry Potter's a bad
Example?
because the expanded universe for that keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, but also it's partially a good example of taking something that has a universe in it, but not having to explain everything in the universe to you.
Yeah,
Except
Well,
for J.K. Rowling, who likes to explain everything to you on her Twitter account.
I'm not-
including wizard toilets.
Yeah,
and
Or
lack thereof.
thereof.
I'm not even
Look that up,
I'm not
folks.
I'm not even really talking about that. I like it when storytellers give you something, but you don't feel like you needed everything explained to you. It doesn't insult the intelligence of the consumer.
Fifth
Yeah.
Element.
Exactly.
You don't need any more. I mean, I love the movie The Fifth Element. You don't need any more of it because you don't need any prequels or sequels because you know exactly how the world works. You know how it's set up, and you know how the world's going to continue to work after the movie's over.
Exactly.
You don't need anything else.
If you
Like-
want more, you can watch that segment from Heavy Metal. That's almost exactly the same.
Pretty much.
Like
yeah.
my thing is like I don't need to know Corbin Dallas's military past.
Right.
You just know he has one.
Yep. That's it.
And I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
And I mean, I know there are other movies that have
A lot
similar
of
kind of things.
Indiana Jones movies are this way. You know he has adventures
Before and after.
and you're just not going to see all of them.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think a lot of it comes down to that serialized kind of. I mean, the Star Wars trilogy,
The original ones, yeah.
before they did the prequels and now the sequels. As much as I love Star Wars, like the three and really the first one could have stood on its own.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that happened before, and there are things that are going to happen after. But as a core, it works.
Yeah, there are events they mention that they don't go in on. It's just these are events that are established in the universe that happened.
You don't need to know about the Clone Wars.
Exactly.
You just need to know they happen.
Exactly.
They create fully functioning worlds and universes that lend themselves to have more stories being told in them.
Right. And
They
sometimes telling more stories in them, when you flesh those out, there's more room for error, I guess.
Star Trek novels.
Star
Wars
Wars
novels.
Star Wars
yeah, the
novels.
expanded universe is
Yeah.
a mess.
Yeah. Which is actually kind of funny. I had an extended conversation with a very, very opinionated Star Wars fan over the weekend, and he had some opinions about some things. Many of them I agreed with. Many of them I did not. But yeah, and I mean, it just goes to show what extended universe can do to shape opinions of the core franchise, both in positive and negative ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the original Star Wars movie was just called Star Wars. It wasn't
there was
Star
no A
Wars:
New
A New
Hope.
Hope or anything
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. I like it. Like I said, I like it when you tell a story in a world that feels like a living world that you don't just hand everything to me.
Like Middle Earth, I feel like you could tell a million stories in there, and they wouldn't even have to touch each other.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but then he went and wrote the Silmarillion, which kind of does that.
Well,
But
we don't talk about the Silmarillion.
It's a history. It literally reads like a history book. It's the most dry piece of literature I've ever consumed.
Sure.
And I've read Moby Dick. I had 2 Moby Dick references for this show.
Wow.
It's a whale of a show.
Melville.
I don't know. I don't remember where I was going with this.
This is maybe our most literary show ever.
It
I love it.
It really is.
We're getting highbrow on our fans.
It's a real
This is
page
great.
turner. When in doubt, pinky out. All the way up.
In your face, overdue podcast. We're
man.
the real book boys now.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really read a book in a while.
Actually, started writing.
Oh yeah.
Started reading Parasite Eve the other day. The book,
Oh yeah.
book that the game's based on. Well, the game is a sequel to the book.
I heard a rumor that there's rumblings that they might be doing another Parasite Eve game.
Oh God, I hope so. The original Parasite Eve is honestly probably one of my favorite games that Square ever made.
It is definitely a good survival horror game.
Yeah, I don't know what it is but I love like the science-y plot that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you get
Down to it.
But it's based in
Some
like
science.
cellular biology and all this stuff. I don't know. It's just the plot really was something I really got into for whatever reason.
Well, the Chrysler Tower was a nightmare, but I think the farthest I made it was like the 12th floor or something.
And the book so far is really good too. Whoever did the translation, I think, was really knocking it out of the park.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Hey, speaking of video games and parasites, we have some Metroid news.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what Metroids are.
Yeah.
That's good.
Weird news. Apparently, Nintendo didn't like the direction that Metroid Prime 4 was going in, so they scrapped all 1.5 to 2 years of their work and is giving it to the original development team at Retro Studios to make a new one.
A lot of people are kind of panicking about this. I think it's good.
Yeah,
I'm okay with
overall, it's a good thing. And
Yeah. I'd rather it be good than quick.
And that's what Nintendo said. They'd rather have a good. They'd rather delay it and have a good game.
They've already done 2 bad Metroid games in recent memory.
They kind of have to, because this is what the first Metroid actual main series game since
Samus Returns.
Samus
wasn't that
Returns.
long
Well,
ago,
yeah.
but that was a remake.
that was kind of a remake.
Yeah, that wasn't even like a new game.
Like, what was the last original?
Federation-
not Federation Force.
Federation Force was the last original new Metroid game that came out, and it was not a Metroid game.
It was not.
I hesitate to say it's a bad game because I don't think it is.
It's not a
but
Metroid
it's not
game.
a Metroid game. I think it'd be really fun to play with 4 people. I've never have. I've done 2-person, but I think if you got 4 people together to play it, you'd have a good time.
I mean, we had a heck of a time playing Triforce here.
Yeah, and
we
that
tried
game
that.
kind of stinks too.
Yeah. But I'm okay with them scrapping and restarting Prime 4. I've always been a fan of the Metroid series. It's one of the few
It's
first-person
probably-
shooters that I enjoyed.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite Nintendo franchise
Mm-hmm.
other than Mario.
Sure. I'm more of a Zelda
Yeah, me too.
I put it one over Zelda.
Really?
Like, I really love Zelda and Donkey Kong Country. That's my thing.
Mario, Metroid, probably Zelda.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's why I play a lot of DK and K. Rool in Smash.
Well, because K. Rool's broken.
Yeah, K. Rool's real good.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't,
very good.
I don't even play him that much. I play Donkey Kong and Bowser more than anything.
Nice.
Honestly, the Mother franchise would be out there too, but I don't count it in the same. It's not the same type of thing.
Right? Yeah, it's a slow building RPG. It's not exactly
Also, the United States doesn't even have every game.
No.
right.
But I think it's some of the best writing in video games. Period. Is that from that series of games?
It has been so long since I played Earthbound. I don't even remember.
Do it. You can. Do you still have your 3DS?
I have my Nintendo, my Super Nintendo Classic.
Oh yeah, play it on there.
Very good. Yeah. All right. So, moving on.
If you've got a Game Boy Advance, you can get like a flashed cartridge just for Mother 3.
Yes. Mother 3 is very good.
Do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo's not going to release
They're
it here,
never-
so do it. Like, it's the only way you're going to get it.
Yeah. All right. So, where do we want to move from here? Do we want to do more game news? Do we want to do?
Well, let's hit our reoccurring feature of the
Oh,
show.
Fallout
where
time.
Something bad happened in Fallout 76, and we're going to tell you about it. It's called
The Fallout.
The Fallout Chronicles.
Yeah.
Falling Out.
Falling out with Fallout. So yeah. So this
We've got two bits.
2 bits. One's actually kind of a good thing, a little bit. One's not. Full disclosure, we're recording this early in the week, and we didn't think we were going to have Fallout 76 news, but this game is the gift that keeps on giving.
Bethesda giveth, and Bethesda taketh away and clippeth through the wall.
We're going to have to create a jingle opening for these
Eventually,
at some point.
if we keep doing it, if they keep happening. So let's do the good one first. They're doing a new game mode. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're adding survival mode, which is kind of like a hardcore PvP mode where there's no punishment for killing people, and kind of seems like more like they wanted to do with the game from the start. Kind of more like a survival type, like Rust scenario.
Yeah.
Where you collect resources and build bases and whatever.
And people will kill you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
The way the game is now, if somebody attacks you, it doesn't do much of anything. It does very limited damage.
Yeah.
Unless you opt in to the fight, which really doesn't mesh with the hardcore
Wasteland survival.
Yeah, wasteland survival thing they're going for with the rest of the game. So I think this actually makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing is, again, I haven't played the game, so I have a very limited opinion on this thing.
I'm the only one here
You're
that's
the only
actually
one.
played the game.
Right.
But am I wrong in believing that there are only fixed spawn points in the game? Like if you die, there are
No,
certain.
because wherever you build your base can be a spawn point, and you can build it pretty much anywhere.
Okay. All right.
Anywhere that's flat enough.
Okay, because that was the initial argument that I saw from some folks that people are just it's going to become a camp fest where basically someone is going to hang out at your base and just rack up points by shooting you over and over as soon as you pop back into the world, and that will become unfair.
Arguably they could.
They
but
could.
They don't have any specific advantage over you either.
Yeah. Well, the article I read, in all fairness, seemed like they were trying to find reasons to complain about Fallout 76. This was before the whole jacket thing.
Yeah.
So they were looking for problems.
Yeah,
with
they
the
needed
game.
it like us. They needed a story for the week to get those sweet Fallout complainy clicks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, it's like I've played a handful of survival games. Like I've played Rust, I've played Age of Conan, and things like that.
Ark, the one with the dinosaurs.
I never actually played that one.
Conan's junk simulator.
Yeah, but arguably Rust is the same
Yeah.
way, except you don't get to choose your junk.
Move on.
Anyway, Rust gets brutal. Like even if you have a base with a save spawn point, depending on how good the people are attacking you, you might not last long. Because you may respawn back to your bed and stuff, but they might be working their way up your base and tearing the whole thing apart. I mean, it's...
Build better defenses.
This is true. That's where you need a coordinated group though of people who know what they're doing.
I miss like these stories of like the original MMOs of people like tales of deceit and insanity of like people when there was no rules and it was the Wild West of MMOs. You could kill somebody and take all their stuff, and it wasn't like this guided Disneyland experience. Like
That's how it was in Star Wars Galaxies for me.
Yeah, the emergent storytelling of these things that can just happen and be crazy in old MMOs is something that we need to look back into and try to cultivate. I think this is a kind of a step in that direction. I mean, I like that.
If they could fix all their other problems with their game, then great. Then this would be awesome. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make a hardcore focused MMO where there are no rules like that.
No rules, just right?
Yeah. Well, I remember reading a story about a guy who role-played as a bartender in Ultima Online after he was ganked real bad once. Somebody stole all his stuff. He got mad. He role-played a bartender for like an insanely long amount of time. And then once he had everybody's trust, he poisoned the beer and killed like a whole server of people.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I watched a guy in like DayZ or something like that, or it might have been in like back when DayZ was like a mod, pour gasoline in a canteen and give it to people he made trust him on the game, and they would drink it and get sick and die.
Dang.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Well,
they're like the stuff that happens in Eve. You always hear about these huge battleship events and wars.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just come emergent out of the game's gameplay and not because
storyline dictated it.
Yeah, storyline dictated it.
Well,
it's just too bad Eve is boring as crap.
Well, yeah, that is true. So survival mode was a good thing with Fallout 76. I mentioned it before. What's going on with these jackets?
Bethesda is selling a $276 jacket.
Yeah.
That
leather jacket.
In
quotes.
Is it leather?
It's supposed to
be. They said it's leather, but they also said that bag was canvas.
and that rum bottle was glass. So yeah, no, they released pictures of this new premium real world item for folks. You know, a jacket, the blue with the gold stripes and the 76 on the back, like the jumpsuit that you get at the beginning of the Fallout game, whatever. And people online have had a field day with it because all of the pictures online
are not flattering.
They look like, you know, those like blue tarps that you like
you put over your truck bed.
Yeah, you build a tent out of, or like, you know, when you're at a garage sale, you put it up so you don't get like
rained on
rain on your knickknacks that you don't want.
Yeah, the jacket looks like it's made out of that material.
Yeah.
Blue plastic bag.
Who in their right mind is going to pay $276 for a jacket from a game that nobody likes?
Exactly.
Like, even if you really like it yourself and, hey, that's cool, that's fine, you're still going out in public with a jacket on with a game that everybody laughs at. Like, it's not a good look.
It's not. Especially, and this product is really wasn't well thought out. Especially based off of like their failed attempts at the rum bottle, the $80 rum, and those canvas bags that
were actually nylon.
Yeah, I've seen some people do fake mock-ups online of like a trash bag with a 76 on it.
Yeah, or like a blue Walmart bag.
Someone made a jacket out of an IKEA like blue bag.
That looks like what they make the cart. People wear at IKEA.
Yeah, and they slapped a 76 on it.
The jacket looks like it would crack the minute it hits sunlight.
Oh, sure.
That's how cheap it looks.
It probably will because Bethesda made it.
Sure.
You'll put your arm in it, and your hand comes out the armpit.
You will become over encumbered, and you'll be stuck in a T-pose.
So, hey, moving on from things that look bad to things that look good, costume-wise, there's a trailer for the DC Comics Warner Brothers movie Birds of Prey that no one really knew was coming, really.
It's kind of barely it's like a weird teaser.
It's a weird teaser. It's a spin-off of Suicide Squad starring basically Harley Quinn and a cast of new characters.
They took the thing that worked from Suicide Squad,
and
Margot Robbie.
And are basing a whole movie about it. The Birds of Prey are an all-female led team from the comics, doing missions and stuff. Sometimes it has heroes, sometimes it has villains, but for the
Sometimes
most part-
both.
sometimes both.
They're the one and only Birds of Prey.
Yeah. But this trailer looked really good, and it
weird.
actually released a lot of real quick flashes of a lot of the different characters and their costumes. Again, had no idea. I haven't been following this because I barely remember that this movie was being made.
Yeah.
But we got looks at the Huntress, who's being played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim.
And in that Cloverfield movie. I know she's really good.
She is very good.
It's good casting.
Yeah, along with her, there is Black Canary, Cassandra Cain, who is a Batgirl.
Batwoman.
One of the Bat...
Oh, no, she was a Batgirl.
Yeah.
She's a Batgirl. Kate
Kate
Kane.
Kane.
Right,
That's
right, right,
Batwoman.
right, right,
That's
right.
Ruby Rose on the CW.
Yeah, Cassandra Cain. She was the...
She
the
was the
Japanese
one
one?
with the-
She was
yeah.
the mute one.
With
Yeah.
the stitches.
Yeah,
She was mute but got better.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, Barbara Gordon could walk again.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And
Ro-
they didn't show her.
They didn't.
No Oracle.
Yeah.
Which I feel like she's an important part of the Birds of Prey.
She's always been like the main part.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, she's like the tech center of it.
right. They also showed Rose Perez as Renee Montoya. Renee Montoya is actually a pretty interesting casting.
Yeah, she's a Gotham police officer
Yep.
Yeah.
who
and
then later becomes the Question.
she becomes the second Question, which is really cool. Which is weird because I really thought they were going to put her on Batwoman because she was a supporting character as the Question in Batwoman for a good amount of time. But if she's going to be in this movie, she's not going to show up on TV.
Yeah, it's not going to
more
be
than
on the
likely.
CW. This is a different universe.
Well, that's not
Sure.
necessarily true because Superman has popped up in Supergirl.
True.
yeah, but
they're not going to.
It's not Henry Cavill. Well, he's not Superman anymore.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, who is a Batman villain, gangster.
Yep, he wears
Basically.
a black skull mask.
Yeah. And Chris Messina as Victor Zsasz, who's also a Batman villain, but like these are villains that have no powers. Like all of these characters are characters that do not have powers, except for Black Canary, who has a sonic scream, but she is more well known for like being
A brawler.
Punch Girl.
a punch girl, super awesome punch girl. But Victor Zsasz,
He's just a gross serial killer.
gross, that carves like
Hash marks.
into his skin for every person he's killed, so he has a bunch of scars all over him. It's kind of lame. Kind of fits with it's probably the most Suicide Squad-y kind of thing from this trailer.
Yeah.
Also, the whole trailer had this very weird Spring Breakers kind of vibe to
kinda
it.
did, which sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a choice.
It's definitely a choice, and I would say, even though it's Spring Breakers is not exactly the best interpretation of these characters, perhaps it is definitely a step up from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and it's definitely an interesting way to go.
Interesting. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a snarky way.
Yeah. No, it is. It really is.
One thing I thought is all their costumes seemed awfully generic, and it was really hard to place who was who.
It's like they were trying to make them not look like comic book characters, which is
kind of
lame. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't like Harley Quinn's weird outfit.
Well,
you're gonna get that,
gonna,
though.
That's not going to be the only one she wears either.
Yeah,
I
you know,
hope.
she's going to be in like 50 different ones.
I just hope the Joker's not in this.
Oh, yeah, please. There's
Please,
already
no
too
Joker.
many.
No more Jokers. We're done on Joker for a while.
Yeah.
I don't.
Especially when nobody can do him right.
Mark Hamill.
Well, they're not going to put him in a movie, though.
I mean, he did voice the Joker in the Birds of Prey TV series, the live-action TV series.
But you never saw him.
You did, sort of. It was very blurry.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do that in a movie. He's not going to be in a modern movie as the Joker.
I know.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because he's the best Joker, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, undoubtedly. I just don't want Jared Leto as the Joker, and I really don't Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
I don't like
either,
the looks.
because
Every look I've seen him from that
That's
Joker origin film, he just looks weird.
it's like I know he's the clown prince of crime, but he's not that clowny.
clown. Yeah. Well, I forget who it was on set that reported this, but there's a supporting actor or actress on set of the Joker movie that reported that the script was being rewritten daily.
Oh, that's like the Mario Brothers movie.
Uh-huh.
And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
Pa-pam.
God. All right, so we have time for one more thing. Pick a thing, guys. We have 3. Dealer's choice.
Let's talk about those comics.
Let's talk about those
DC
comics, yeah.
We don't talk about comics enough.
Yeah, so Free Comic Book Day is coming up in a couple months. Well, actually, it's a little more than a couple months. It's like
May, isn't it?
the first Saturday in May. It's always the first Saturday in May. And companies, it's an excuse for comic companies to put out basically teasers of new things that are coming out, as well as reprints of old comics, trying to get a new readers in, because that is what comics desperately need.
Trying to get butts in comic book stores.
That pretty much. And this year DC is launching 2 new lines of comics during Free Comic Book Day. The first one is called DC Inc., which is meant to kind of gear towards more of a young adult reader.
I like that art.
That's for the kids one.
I really like that art.
Mm-hmm. The comic that they're releasing is called Under the Moon. It's a Catwoman centered story. I think it's supposed to be like early high school.
Yeah. And if you didn't know, graphic novels are like super hot right now for kids.
Oh, sure.
There's a ton of them, and a lot of them are really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole section at Barnes & Noble in the kids area of young adult graphic novels.
Yeah, it's really
read Lumberjanes. Yeah. It's fantastic.
It looks like the indie comic scene did 20 years ago. There's a lot of like biographical things and more than just capes.
Yeah,
cape stories.
Yeah, I'm in for that. The other line is called DC Zoom, and it's like middle grade readers, and it's more of a children's line, which is also cool. The comic that they're releasing for this, it looks like a Justice League book with really interesting looking art.
That's a really interesting choice for Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's Simon Baz.
Simon Baz, yeah. But it looks like basically the lineup from the Justice League cartoon from 2004 with added bearded Aquaman and Simon Baz and Cyborg.
He looks like such a friendly Aquaman.
He looks really friendly. I actually really like that version of Aquaman.
I like the whole thing. It looks like it was done with colored pencil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that art style.
The shade work is really nice, and I like the highlighting on Aquaman's armor.
Gustavo Durante, that's the artist's name.
The takeaway from this is they can't aim comic books at the same comic book store guys forever,
because they're gonna die eventually.
Yeah, and then you got nothing.
Hey, I feel personally attacked there.
Well, I mean, listen, comic book readers as a whole are not getting younger. They need to start going after younger audiences because, contrary to popular belief, comics are for children. They're not for adults. They're not really supposed to be for us. They've become for us as middle-aged
Well, they can be.
folks.
They're supposed to be for anybody.
They're for any,
and they're ignoring a huge market for no good reason.
And if they continue to ignore that market, they're going to...
That market...
In 20, 30 years, comics could be gone. I mean, right now, comics... a large part of comics are like holding, like, basically places to hold IPs until movies are made.
I mean, you're not wrong. And a lot of comics, the digital ones are gaining popularity.
Sure.
And kids are hungry for this material. They love the superheroes in the movies, and then they don't have anything from that movie that's age appropriate for them.
Yeah.
Which is dumb.
Yeah, and I mean, and the ones that are, even if they are age appropriate, there's so much continuity and like reboots and like
it's confusing what to get into.
Yeah,
events
and things like that. It's incredibly difficult to be a fresh reader.
And Marvel's the worst with the events. It drives me nuts.
DC's pretty bad about it too.
I've completely lost track of like everything.
Yeah, well, DC's canceling a bunch of their titles too. They put out.
They always do that.
They sold half as many comic books this month as they did last month. That's not good.
I know.
That's super not good. That's like 50,000 books over the entire world. That's super not good. That's right. Comics, they sell about 100,000.
Yeah.
Overall, worldwide.
I do
That's-
like
That's
how
not very many.
No, it's
No.
not.
You know why? Because you have to go to a specialized store to buy them.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
And
I remember when I was younger, comics were a little more widely available. Like
Yeah.
you could go to like the magazine section of a grocery store and find some.
Of the first few years of me buying comics as a kid, I went to Meyer.
Yeah,
Me
they have
too.
a-
They were in the magazine section of Meyer.
That's
There's
where,
a whole rack.
That's where I got X Babies.
That's where I got all of my books for years. I didn't go to comic shops to buy comics until I was like a senior in high school.
You're nearly a man.
Hey, I love comic book shops and their communities and their environment, and that's a great thing.
I love it too.
But also, why are
Accessibility.
why are comic books not more accessible?
Yeah. Comics need to be more accessible, both in content and like purchasability. That's how you save comics. We could get into way more of this, but unfortunately, we have hit time. So we should probably go ahead and wrap things up. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on social medias at Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Nerd Overload Now.
You can pop us an email, staff@nerdoverload.com, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nerd Overload TV.
That's right. We are also on a whole bunch of different places you can find podcasts. This week, I'm going to say Spotify. Go check us out on Spotify. It's over there really easy.
We had to get approved to be on Spotify.
Yeah, we are officially a good show because we're on Spotify. We also sell t-shirts, bit.ly/nerdoverloadT. We're working on some more designs. We're hoping to get some more stuff in the store. And Patreon. Yeah, you heard that ad. Go to patreon.com/nerdoverload now. That's Patreon because it's spelled kind of weird because fancy, I guess. I don't know.
Because you got to call your internet startup something weird.
Something weird.
That's spelled different.
Anyway, bottom line, go check that out if you want. I think that pretty well covers everything. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Pizza out.